Well, people, we've made it into Wednesday. Wednesday, hump day on number one form for Bama. Football news, in my own words. You're with the Fun Bunch with John Ivory, the master producer, and extraordinaire. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Touchdown. Alabama Magazine bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. Speaking of a channel, go ahead right now, drop that thumbs up, give a like on the show. Hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on, hit that bell so that way you can get all of your news, notes, alerts, and entertainment on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. We also got you covered here on Facebook and Twitter as well. Got a lot of big things to get into on this evening. We'll be joined a little bit later on by my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA. Crazy news happening in recruiting right now as Shemar James, the four-star athlete, decommitted from Florida. What? He decommitted from Florida. So Alabama and Georgia in hot pursuit for James. And then also you have the four-star Sean Murphy, or the talented athlete Sean Murphy, as I should say. He is trying to get both Earl Little Jr. and James to commit to the Crimson Tide. So a lot of things are recruiting to talk about. I'm going to have Justin on here, and then we're going to have Mike McCoy back on the show, former Alabama wide receiver, played from 2006 to 09, a big part of that 09 national championship team, the founder of Maximum Performance Institute out of Bessemer, and he challenged the guys last week to show the energy, to show the effort. So it'll be fun to have McCoy back on here. But we want to hear from you guys tonight. Ring those phone lines, 205-448-1358 for number 2. Let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Daily Super Chat Go, $75. Daily Super Chat Go. Appreciate the love and the support from each and every last one of you. But we start the conversation like this right here, and the third Saturday in October rivalry between Alabama and Tennessee on Saturday, 6 p.m. Central Time kickoff from Bryant-Denny Stadium. ESPN will have the call on the matchup, and, you know, it's going to be homecoming game. Hopefully Montana Fouts will win homecoming queen, the senior pitcher for Alabama softball. If Montana Fouts does not win, we could possibly have a problem on our hands here. But Alabama, Tennessee, Bryant-Denny, third Saturday in October matchup right here. The Volunteers come in with a 4-3 record under first-year head coach Josh Heupel. Heupel, one of the just most decorative quarterback in terms of Oklahoma football history, but his first year coaching at Tennessee. Now, Coach Saban has owned this rivalry since 2007. This matchup here has been one-sided. Coach Saban 14-0 since coming to the Crimson Tide in this matchup here, and Tennessee has made a few of these games interesting. You go back to 2009, the Terrence Cody blocking 2 field goals off Daniel Lincoln, Rocky block at Bryant-Denny. Final score 12-10. Alabama rolled that by the fingernail to the national championship. I'm going to actually try to get Terrence Cody on Friday's show. I'm going to try to do that. But that was one of the more interesting games. 2014 was kind of interesting, even though Alabama got the 34-20 victory with one Blake Sims. Joshua Dobbs came off the bench to replace Justin Worley and made that more competitive than what the score indicated. 2015, game back in Bryant-Denny, Alabama won 19-14. Derrick Henry got a late rushing touchdown there, and Ryan Anderson strip-sacked Joshua Dobbs. Fumble was recovered by Ashawn Robinson. But of course, the 2019 game where Tennessee's defense really affected Tua Tagovailoa. Tua gets injured, gets hurt in the game with an ankle. He leaves the game. Mac Jones has to go in. The game was close there for a minute until Jared Garantano fumbled the ball in the end zone. Trayvon Diggs picked it up, and there he goes! 100 yards the opposite way for a touchdown. Bama got the 35-13 win. So there have been some matchups in this series under Coach Saban, where Tennessee has made it interesting, but nonetheless 14-0 in favor of Alabama. But the big thing here is there are going to be two guys that will be at the center of this matchup. They're on opposite ends of the rivalry. When you talk Brandon Turnage, who started his career off at Alabama, now he's at Tennessee. But more importantly, Henry To'oTo'o, who started his career at Tennessee, played 2 years for the Volunteers. Now he is at Alabama. And for Henry T, he has not had the greatest season in the world, kind of up and down, but had a strong performance, decent performance there against Mississippi State. 13 touchdowns, 13 tackles, not 13 touchdowns, my goodness, no. 13 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack. But this matchup here against Tennessee, where if there was anybody that knows how Tennessee operates, it would be Henry To'oTo'o. If there's anybody that knows how Tennessee ticks, how Tennessee functions, how that offense is ran, how that offense is conducted, what type of plays are being ran, what type of structure and strategy and formations are being done, it would be To'oTo'o, just for the simple fact that he practiced against these guys for 2 years. He scrimmaged against these guys for 2 years. He was in those meetings for 2 years. He was in that environment for 2 years. So if there was anybody that could tell Christian Harris and Will Anderson and Jordan Battle and all the defensive players for Alabama where to be, where to line up, what gaps to hit, what to do, how to really make this offense a non-factor, it would be Henry To'oTo'o. And this is a huge game for him. This is huge because this is his opportunity to flip the script on his season. Like I mentioned, through the first 7 games, he's been up and down. He's had some good moments. He's had some moments where he has missed tackles. He has not been in the right spot. He has not dissected plays, things of that nature. And at times, he tries so hard to get everybody else in the right spot that by the time the ball is snapped, he's caught out of position, and then that's night-night Irene where he is concerned. So this is a game for To'oTo'o to flip the script on things, to get himself going here in terms of putting together consistent positive performances, consistent strong performances here on the field from the inside linebacker, the Mike linebacker perspective. So big game for him. And on homecoming, big game for him on homecoming, facing Tennessee, facing his former team. A lot of his former teammates are still, with the Volunteers. They're all, good friends and things of that sort. But this is his matchup. This is his matchup. This is his opportunity. And can he go out there, take full advantage of it, take full ownership of it, and dominate out there on the field? Because even though the Vols, they've got, talent offensively and defensively, this is a team that could be 5-2 on the year. It lost to Ole Miss by 5. It lost to Pittsburgh by 7, so a combination of 12 points. Both of those teams, Ole Miss and Pittsburgh, are ranked. And, offensively, the Vols, they've got some injuries there at quarterback, whether Joe Milton goes this week or Hendon Hooker goes this week remains to be seen. But they've got some guys at running back led by Tyon Evans. They've got playmakers at receiver, Javon Payton, Velus Jones Jr., among other guys. But this is a matchup here for Henry T. This is his moment. This is his opportunity. This is his game. He's got to go out there and take full advantage of it, because I think if he does, then this becomes the spark for him and the building block for him to, against LSU, have a big game, against Arkansas have a big game, against Auburn have a big game, should Alabama get to the SEC championship and play against Georgia. This game against Tennessee goes a long way for Henry To'oTo'o in terms of what he wants to accomplish, not only as a collegiate player, but at some point soon trying to go to the NFL draft. So big game here for Henry T. Massive game here for this young man, and looking forward to seeing what he does on that field, taking Tennessee's offense out of its element. This is his matchup. But we go to our first break here on the show. Touch that dial. People, we're just getting started. Upon our return, we go on the phone lines. We take your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your conversations, and interaction with you, the Bama fans. It's coming after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
We are back in from the break of a number one form for Bama football news on a Wednesday hump day. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. The third Saturday in October rivalry, the one for the cigar. Saturday, 6 p.m. Central Time, kickoff ESPN from Bryant-Denny Stadium between Alabama and Tennessee. Guys, shout out my man, Big Bill. Bill from New York, that $5 donation helping us out here on the show. As always, people, the daily Super Chat goes $75. Daily Super Chat go. Appreciate all of you making this your show. We go to the phone lines right now to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. And I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. We grab a call here. You're live on a Wednesday. What's going on? What's happening? State your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, Stephen. Bill from New York.
Bill, what's happening, my man?
Well, tonight I want to talk about Agiye Hall. You know, I'm really hoping for the best for this kid. You know, I've been listening to Saban for years, and I think the smartest thing he ever said, I heard him say once, that no pro scout has ever asked him how a player did in his freshman year. And, you know, we remember what happened with Antonio Alfano, what he did in the A game, with like 5 sacks, 6 sacks, whatever it was. And I don't want this to be a repeat with Hall, because the kid's really good. And, you know, I get it. He's a young guy, and with this NIL, he's looking at the quarterback at Bryce with $1 million in his pocket, and he knows what he could do. But he just really needs, I'm hoping that he follows the process. And because what Coach Saban says to do is generally right. And I'm wondering what you think about that.
Absolutely, Bill. So Coach Saban always talks about the players creating value for themselves, impressing the coaches, absolutely, but create your own value and create value for the team moving forward. And I know Agiye was frustrated when you come in as a 5-star and you believe that you should be on the field, but at the same time, so many other wide receivers had to wait their time, and that patience paid off. And I believe Coach Saban and a few of the receivers met with Hall on Sunday. They spoke with him. I know Hall posted something to his Instagram that has me believing that things are fine, that he has, calmed down, and that he's going to remain here in Alabama. But the big thing here, Bill, for him is stay the course and be patient. Your time coming. Appreciate Bill from New York there for that call there. Bill from New York helping us out here on the show. We grabbed this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
This is Michael from Columbia, South Carolina.
Michael, what's happening, man?
Good, man. First of all, I want to say, man, John Mechie, he has been killing it this season.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, bounce back game for Mechie against Mississippi State. 7 catches, $117, a touchdown. That's the John Mechie that you want to see all season. I know he had some lingering injuries from last year. A couple of those he got surgeries on in the spring. But the Mechie I saw against Mississippi State, that's the Mechie I want to see the rest of the year.
And my question is, when are we going to see more of Hall and Christian Leary and those guys?
Well, Christian Leary is actually working as the emergency running back, according to Coach Saban. I would like to see Leary get some opportunities at that slot receiver position because he's got that 10.5 track speed, 100-meter dash. I mean, that guy can get up and go. Christian Leary can. I want to see more of him. I want to see more of Ja'Cory Brooks and Agiye Hall. But it just comes down to, those guys got to continue to do what they need to do in practice, in the film room, off the field also, to win those coaches over. And I know patience is a hard teacher, but wait this thing out. Their time is coming.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate that call right there, my man Michael out of South Carolina, giving us some love from the show. We take this call right here. You're live on the show on a Wednesday. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen M. This is William Bryan up here in Denison, Iowa. What's happening?
William, what's going on, my man? I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, I'm anxious for this game. I noticed last night you mentioned Byron Young was injured. Is he going to be able to play, you think? Or is he going to be out for the Saturday?
Saban has him as day-to-day. I think he'll be more so of a game-time decision. If he feels good, he plays. If not, I wouldn't push it just due to the bye week is next week. So you get some rest in prior to facing LSU. So I think Byron will be a game-time decision.
Okay, and I believe Drew Sanders, he's out for the season, right?
No, he's not out for the season. Saban spoke on Drew today. He will have his hand re-x-rayed. He'll have his hand re-x-rayed during the bye week. Alabama is really hopeful to have him for LSU. He's been working hard. He's been pushing hard, trying to get back on that field. So he'll have his hand x-rayed during the bye week. And Coach Saban very hopeful to have him against LSU.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. I was just wondering about Sway. We hadn't heard from him in a while. I'm just
haven't heard from my man Sway from down. We haven't heard from Sway. We haven't heard from Sway from down the Bay. Maybe Sway will call Friday. I think Sway gonna probably call Friday.
Good deal. Yeah. Maybe Charles from Demopolis. You think he's gonna call tonight?
I don't know if Charles is gonna call, man. If Charles called, we'll be waiting for it though. But I don't know if Charles is gonna call tonight.
All righty then. Roll Tide, man.
Appreciate my man William Bryan there out of Iowa. There was some good thoughts there on Drew Sanders and Byron Young there. We got Gucci Ty with that $5 donation. Appreciate the love there from Gucci Ty helping us out there. And Spencer Everly has hopped in here with a $5 donation as well. Remember, people, daily Super Chat goal, $75. Daily Super Chat goal. But once again, Drew Sanders, Alabama sophomore outside linebacker. He's working his way back from a hand injury that he suffered against Ole Miss. Coach Saban talked about it tonight. He will have his hand x-rayed over the bye week, and the team highly hopeful that he'll be able to take the field on November 6th, if I'm not mistaken, against LSU at Bryant-Denny. But Quick topic here, and that goes to Alabama's Bryce Young, Evan Neal, and Will Anderson. All three of these young men have had fantastic seasons to this point. Bryce Young, 2,082 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 3 picks. Evan Neal, I do not think he has allowed a sack all season. And then Will Anderson, 7 sacks, 15 tackles for loss. Has been a menace all year. All three guys have been named mid-season All-Americans by Sporting News and the Associated Press. So big ups to Bryce Young, Evan Neal, and Will Anderson. But we grab a phone call here. You are live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen, I was running late today. This is the President Whalen here. I just thought I'd give everybody a shout out there. I had a little company come in there, but I guess better late than never. I hope everybody's doing well on this Wednesday evening. And, I hope we do get Drew Sanders back there maybe after the bye week. We sure do need him back. It sure would be a help on the defensive end of the ball. The football team for sure, there's no doubt. But, well, I don't know. I always ask you, lay a little good news on me if you got it there. Make me put a smile on my face.
Well, here we go, Waylon. So we're gonna have Justin talk more so about this. But Shemar James, the 4-star athlete that was committed to Florida, has decommitted. So now Alabama is hot on his trail. Bama could be picking up Shemar James pretty soon.
Well, there you go. Then it's hot to trot. More people coming in, I tell you. Well, that sounds good. I'm gonna cut out of here right quick, and see everybody in the chat, the Blue Ranch gang. Hello to everybody. It's hard to to say hello to everybody. There's so many now on the show. I think 117 we got. It's a blessing to have this many people on the show, and the way the show has grown in the last couple of years, it's amazing. So everybody be safe. I love everybody. Thanks to everybody in the cities, towns, countries, and states, donations, prayers, calling in, everybody. We appreciate you. And we're going to get out of here. Be safe. We'll be back on Friday. And, John, I hope you're still doing well. I still got you on my mind. There's no doubt about it. I love you. Everything will be fine. Time heals all wounds. I know it's hard to think about that, but it does. I've been in your shoes, and we all have. And we're still thinking about you, and we love you. We got to have you on the show. We love you. We love you. We love you. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. We'll see y'all Friday. God bless everybody. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate Waylon there for calling in his thoughts there to our own John Ivory, who is in the production studio doing his thing as he always does. Gotta love what John Ivory does for us here on TDA. But gotta shout out my man Cliff Reese with that $5 donation, dropping it in the bucket there. Appreciate the love there from Cliff Reese. Daily Super Chat goes $75. Appreciate all you guys helping us out there. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Elijah. I'm calling from New Jersey. Big time Tide fan, man. Hey, I just wanted to talk about this whole bashing Pete Golden thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Pete is a great defensive coordinator by all means. I think he looked lost at times, but people have to put some of this accountability on the players. These players are turning around and they're missing tackles. They lined up incorrectly. These guys are taught this. They work on it all week in practice on the defensive side of the ball. So how is Pete Golden held responsible for when guys miss tackles? Pete ain't missing the tackles. It's the players. And everybody just want to hold him accountable for, every negative thing that this defense does. I hear people say, oh, Freddie Roach needs a chance. Well, to be honest with you, the defensive line isn't getting the pressure. The defensive line is probably the most overrated group of the bunch. Christian Harris isn't having a good year. Henry To'oTo'o isn't having a good year. And Freddie Roach is the defensive line coach. So what makes them think he will be a better fit at a defensive coordinator position if his guys ain't getting the job done? To be honest, Will Anderson is the only alpha dog on this defensive unit, and he's an outside linebacker. So if you think if Mathis ain't getting it done, if Ray ain't getting it done, if Young is not getting it done, if Abobe is not getting it done, because none of these guys even have 3 to 5 sacks on the season. So that was supposed to be our strength of the defense, the defensive line. And look, what are they doing? You know, they rarely get any pressure. If it's not for Will Anderson, that quarterback will be able to sit there, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, I mean, I understand Pete Golden is his job. He's going to handle, and he's going to get handed most of the blame because he is the defensive coordinator. But if this man, if he's not out there making the tackles or lining up for these guys, you know, only thing he could do is teach them. And at the end of the day, the secondary doesn't look all that great. But you don't see Nick Saban getting the same criticism because he is the cornerback coach. He coaches up the secondary. A lot of these guys are out of position. Heck, you got guys running wide open in the Texas A&M game in the secondary. Wide, completely open, blown coverages. But Nick Saban don't get none of that blame. So I just think, you know, we just got to be honest with ourselves and just say, you know, these guys need a little bit more coaching, maybe a little bit more time to learn the system. But Pete Golden, I don't think he's the answer. He's no Kirby Smart. But he can't take the blame for everything.
Big thoughts there from my man Agiye coming out of New Jersey. Big thoughts right there. Appreciate that call. Talking about Pete Golden, how you can't put it all on Pete Golden. I guess for me, it's a sense of when you've been dominant on defense for so long, right? And when that dominance does not happen in the last few years or so, everybody wants to find who can I blame? Who's the scapegoat? So obviously, the person you got to look at, you know, Pete Golden as the defensive coordinator, but we will see what happens here moving forward with this defense. Good game against Mississippi State. Will that will it be able to build more off of that? Hopefully so. I want that to happen, especially with Tennessee this weekend. But folks, we're going to go to a break right here on the show and touch that down, because when we get back, we got our guests coming on. We got Justin Smith for Talk Recruiting. And we got my man Mike McCoy coming on here on Touch That Down, folks. We're coming back.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We are back into the action here, folks, on a Wednesday. Number one forum for Bama football news, in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We move on over to the In My Own Words hotline. We bring this brother back right here, the founder of Maximum Performance Institute, one of the dogs of the 2009 BCS National Championship team for Alabama, and the brother that challenged them boys last week. And I feel like they answered that challenge, or sparked to answer that challenge. We got Mike McCoy in the building. Mike, what's happening, brother man?
What's going on, Chief? I appreciate you having me again, man. I appreciate the kind words as well.
Absolutely. We got Mike McCoy in here right now, so Mike is getting to business. So, last week, you called for defense out last week. You talked about it. Those guys not playing with energy. Those guys not playing with passion. Got to have some dogs out there on the field. And apparently, Coach Saban and the players must have been listening to this show, because they went out there against Mississippi State. It was a spark. They went out there, held the team to 9 points, got some sacks, got some turnovers. What did you like about the game against State from you challenging these guys, and those guys were able to put something together last week?
I mean, I definitely think the talent is there. And like the last brother that you just had on, he said you can't blame it on the defensive coordinator. Well, I beg to differ. I'm not going to say blame him, but necessarily when you're a great coach, you make adjustments. If I got a great, it's like basketball. If I got a great point guard, I run through my guards. So if I got a great big, I run through my bigs. We got to identify. I don't think Alabama has an identity yet. I think with all that talent, nobody has stepped up as the leader. And I feel like you got a lot of, well, he's young, he's this, he's that. Hey, man, you lead by leading. And I think the only guy who probably answered that call and who put the whole team on his back was Steel Wheel last week. The guy played relentless. Why don't we see that every week? My biggest question going to be is, why do you guys got to lose in order to get pissed off? Are you that high up on your horse that you don't take any of these teams seriously? And, we do have guys out of position. Why? Where's the discipline at? Where's the accountability? Those are my questions, because when we were back then, man, the coaches didn't have to say nothing, man. It was culture. We understood. We always chasing the same thing. We were chasing that bag. And I feel like now that these boys done got the bag and everybody telling them how good they are, they done got comfortable, man. That's my biggest thing. But was I impressed? I was glad. I won't be impressed until, man, you do that day in, day out. It's supposed to be like that. That's supposed to be understood.
So if you look at this, Mike, can you see Alabama building off this? Because the question is, was last week the start of building an identity, or was last week just a spark? Because we saw the 3 interceptions. We saw the 7 sacks, 4 of those by Will Anderson. We saw the winning on third down, getting off the field. We even look at Coach Saban saying finally that we got a complete game out there. But in your opinion, Mike, was this just a spark, or do you see Alabama taking this and building off this throughout the remainder of the season?
Man, time is going to tell. I can't give a definite answer, but I think time is going to tell. Everybody, it shines on every dog. Every dog has its day. And last week has to be Alabama. But are you going to have a complete game this week? I'm not saying, hey, man, you don't have to have it. It's not the play calls. It's the players that you have on the field. Sometimes you just got to put the players in the right place, man. And if somebody can't get done, back when we were there, your number 2 might have been better than the starters. Them boys got to challenge each other, man. We got to start pulling each other cards. I think that's what it's going to come down to, man. There needs to be some locker room talk. They need to huddle up. They need to have a come to Jesus meeting, whatever they need to do. Are you going to be a one-trick pony? Are you going to, every time you step on this field, you finna get this work? That is the question. You finna get this work? You finna get 60 minutes. Like, I'm upset that you have the audacity to put on a uniform and go against me mentality. That's the mentality that they got to bring back, bro.
If you're just tuning into the show, we got Mike McCoy on the phone line right now. In my own words, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, the founder of Maximum Performance Institute, played wide receiver for the Crimson Tide on that 09 BCS championship team right there.